Great. Yeah. Now, are the, Pastor Dwayne, let me ask you this question. Are all of the children orphans? Can they be adopted?
Well, they can't be adopted by Americans. I understand recently, I think someone down there might have adopted one of the child, but not all of them are parentless. Sometimes they do come from the streets where the parents aren't around. They've been doing drugs or whatever, and they're some pretty desperate situations.
I see.
Other times they do come from some homes where parents are poor, they just can't afford it. Maybe there's a lot of kids. So they just, the kids go there until they're old enough to maybe carry on themselves and then go back to their homes. So sometimes they're not true orphans. Maybe the families just aren't able to take care of them.
So if someone that's watching this show, if they wanted to help out, what could they do? How much money do they need? What do they need?
Sure. I don't know how much they need a month, but you know, they're always short. I mean, you talk 30, 40 kids every day, and you know, you need to feed them. When we were down there this year, you know, for breakfast, they have a little piece of bread, tortilla, and maybe some beans, and that's it. They don't have a whole lot, and so they're always needing funds and support. And what's really neat is there have been several churches that have helped out, different groups that have come down and done projects. But if someone wants to help, there's a beautiful online. You can go online at Sauzal.com or .org. .org. Okay. And they can go there, and you can actually sponsor a child. Okay. And you know, it's great to have children in your family. Say, hey, how about if we sponsored an orphan? Mm-hmm. And they can do it for $5 a month.
Wow.
You know, they'll take $5,
that's reasonable.
Or if they can do more. Mm-hmm. But it's just a great way to help us to learn. You know, we have a lot.
We do.
And you know, we can share our excess with others, and it's the joy of giving. I think that's what our kids learn in going down there. So it's elsazal.org, and they have a whole website, and you can see pictures of the kids, and they give little bios on them, and give more information about the orphanage.
Great. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, I know that in any home, we all know that the heart of a home is the kitchen. Right?
The kitchen.
And I'm sure that the heart of the orphanage is the kitchen.
Yes, it
and
is.
Melinda, you're in charge of the food. Tell me how you plan. What do you do?
Okay.
We know nothing.
Yeah. I've been going this is my 13th time to go.
Wow.
And I've done food most of the time. Not every year, but I've been involved in it every year in some way. So now, you know, my head is always going, you know, thinking about how to plan food.
Too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always thinking of things that I might fix, you know, when I'm fixing something at home or whatever. And so my planning kind of is ongoing all the time. But January is kind of the big push to really, okay, it's time to get ready. It takes a long time just to think it through.
And when does the trip take place?
March, about the middle of March, spring break.
Spring break. So it takes you a few months then.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time just thinking about it, and then making plans, you know, writing things down, and you know, you make a plan and then you discard that, and I do a lot of comparison shopping and just thinking how to take something that I would make for my family and translate that into feeding 60 or 70 or 80 people.
So when you say that many, are you including the people at the orphanage as well?
We do dinners for, as Ken was kind of getting into, the evening meal we provide for the orphanage as well as ourselves. So it's a big family meal, and it's the best part of the day. It's crazy. I pretty much spend the entire day in the kitchen between doing breakfast and then lunch and then whatever it's going to take for the evening meal. So I spend a lot of time in there, but I love it because there's a lot of people in and out of there all day long.
It's the heart.
The orphanage ladies are in there. They're making tortillas, or you know, they're fixing a pot of beans or whatever. So you just feel kind of the sense of the real flavor of the orphanage by being in the kitchen. And so,
did you learn how to make tortillas?
I haven't done that yet. I've tried my hand at rolling them and tossing them, and didn't do real well. I would love to spend some time down there just learning from them. It'd be amazing.
That can be on your bucket list.
Yeah.
Make tortillas.
Yeah.
So, Melinda, do you do all of this by yourself?
Typically, we have sent somebody down as kind of an assistant to the kitchen. I did this year pretty much by myself. I had a gal that came in and helped me off and on, but we were a little lower on staff this year, so the planning and kind of making the lists, and Lauren always helps me with the shopping, so that part of it is like I pretty much do that by myself.
Now, do you have teams? Do the kids get to help you at all?
Yeah, in the kitchen every day they have teams that are divided up for their small groups.
I see.
Each day that they get together and they do their study time and so forth together. And then each day there's a group assigned to help with breakfast and dinner. And they come in about a half an hour prior to the meal. And last minute stuff they can help put together, put out the dishes, and then they do the major cleanup. So
You know, I bet there's a lot of dishes to wash.
oh, that's amazing. Yeah, and depending on what I fixed and how many big pans I use, that can take a long time. But
I bet.
it's good for them. They share a whole sense of being part of the whole thing, and I think that's
Right.
good. Yeah, the evening meal is I call it kind of controlled chaos. It's like you spend all this time getting it ready and you feel prepared, and then all of a sudden the bell rings and everybody's there, and
Right.
whew.
Yes.
And about a half an hour later, it's just like, but it's so great because everybody's happy, and as Dwayne talks about the fact that they don't have a lot of food,
Right.
and we
So
try
it's a
to
treat
we
for
try to
them.
put a lot of money towards what we take down so that we can provide them with something really special for the week.
So what would you say the kids' favorite dinner would be, the orphanage children?
They love lasagna.
Lasagna.
Yeah, and pizza.
And pizza. They
So-
probably don't get a lot of pizza and lasagna.
No, I think that that's something that they look for, that we've kind of, they love hot dogs. They love, we did barbecue pork this year. So they love all those things. We've kind of tapped into the things that are special to them so we can
Right.
take those with us.
Do you go shopping at all when you're in Mexico?
A little bit, once in a while. They have little stores real close by that we can get last minute things we might have forgotten, or we go into Ensenada sometimes to get a few things that maybe we run short. But not much. We do primarily all
Okay.
the shopping before we go down.
Okay. Any taco runs or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. There
Notice the
never
laugh.
seems to be enough food. You got to go get it somewhere else.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So, Melinda, have you noticed anything special maybe in the life of one of the kids going down, helping out in the kitchen?
Wow, I don't know that I can specifically, one kid or anything. I do feel like I get to spend time with all the kids that way.
Right.
I don't spend one time with a work group. I spend time with all the kids.
Right.
And that always
That's
ends up
great.
being kind of a special, unique place, I think.
Yes.
And like this year, I had Brianna Morgan, who goes as one of our leaders, come in and help me a lot, just because I didn't have anybody, and she ended up with some time on her hands. So
Right.
I think God provides special times for special people
Right.
to just have that connection with, and this year it was her, and we spent a lot of time talking, and it was really good.
Yeah.
So I think I would say every year is unique. There's just somebody that I
yes.
always feel like
Absolutely.
I connect with in some way.
So, Melinda, what would you say, what's prepared you for this task? Were you a chef?
No, I don't consider myself to be, a wonderful cook or, something that I really was good at that much. My mom was I considered her to be a great cook. She was just a basic cook too, but I can remember coming home every Sunday to a good meal because she would have everything ready and she planned. And I do a lot of planning. I think that prepared me because
That's
my mom was a
success.
planner.
Yes.
Her mother before that was a widow when she had 8 kids at home in the Depression. And she didn't have a lot, but she always provided for her family. And my mom's told me stories about her and how they had a cow and they had plenty of food for that. From that they had milk and they had things that they could prepare. And she would have men come to her back door looking for a free meal, and she would always provide that for them. So I have in my background that sense that a good meal is a very special thing and a bonding thing, something that God uses.
Thank you, Melinda.
I
Let me
can-
ask.
I was going to say I can answer that question though.
Yes.
Everybody has gifts that
Yes.
that people are good at, and one of the things that Melinda is good at and it shines is the fact that she cares. She wants to care for people, and she wants to make people feel good, and that is, and she does a great job of that, and that really shines in the food department for
Thanks.
Melinda, and it has for a long time.
I think I shared that this year with the group, is that I kind of feel like God made me for this, and I don't really know why, I don't really know what brings it out necessarily, where that comes from. It's just something that I feel.
Yes. We just have a couple minutes left, and in that time, do any of you have a special story of something that you think is extraordinary, maybe that happened in the life of one of the students that went down? Any life-changing things?
Well, there have been several kids, not just one. I think there's several that have gone on to be lawyers and teachers. And I think of Julio, who was there years ago, and he helped with the orphanage, and now he's helping out at the school, working at the school. And these kids always come back. When we go down there, they're always coming back, and they're hooking up with us, and we see them, whether it's Sophia or Julio or others, Patty. They now have their own families, they're married, they have children, they come back and see us, and it's just a blessing
Yes.
to watch them just come back. And
They know when we're going to be there, and they show up,
Yeah.
and that's really special.
So they started out many years ago, because
Yeah.
you've been going down for how many, Ken?
25 years.
25 years. So you've seen these kids growing up.
It's like
and
a
now
home
they're-
away from home. I mean, when you
Yeah.
go down there, we know so many people there that have grown up there that it's like just going back and meeting family or meeting old friends all the time now.
So that it's really important to be going back to the same place, building those relationships, and watching this happen. What about growth in the lives of the high school children in Frontline going down?
I just think that, we, this year, I usually do an acronym when I teach, and so this year I did an acronym LOVE, and talked about listening to God. And as I talked about that, I talked about, is God calling you? And, as I was thinking about in the evening time when I was wrapping all this up, I was thinking, gosh, is that what I should talk about? But I really felt God was leading me to that. I did that, and I said, gosh, if God is calling you, you need to talk to me or talk to one of the staff afterwards. And it was awesome to see this one girl that just said, yeah, I need to talk to you. And so we went outside, and she said, yeah, God is calling me to himself. And so she made that decision for Christ, and so I prayed with her, and it was just awesome to watch that happen. It was awesome to watch God work in that process. And I know it changed her life, and that's neat to see as a freshman that happens, and she got baptized down there, which is really cool to be at the orphanage grounds and have this just wooden box that we make with some plastic in it, put some water in it, and to be able to do something like that. That's a special time for her, I know, and she has 3 more years that she's able to go.
That's
So.
neat.
Yeah.
Well, our time is just about up, and I want to say thank you to Pastor Dwayne, Pastor Ken, Lauren Deffenbach, and
thank you.
Melinda, the heart of the orphanage.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing what you've done. And I want to thank each one of you for joining us for another exciting episode of Talking Points, the show of vital interest to you and to your community. We've been visiting with pastors from the First Baptist Church in Ashland, Oregon, and some of the volunteer staff that go down to the orphanage each year during spring break. I'm your host, Angie Christensen, and I'm encouraging you to get involved and make a difference in this world. Thank you so much. Bye. We're still on. We're still on. Okay, yeah. So I guess we're back.